Good day, all. Ira Epstein of Linn & Associates with your metals market update. And this is your weekend edition for Friday, July 5th, 2019. Well, as you can see, on the daily at least, you were down pretty hard today. And what did that is the jobs data. You know, a month ago, we had only 75,000 jobs, and that's what got Chairman Powell to start talking about the economy's not doing as well. And he opened the door with that to the idea that the Fed's there, maybe interest rates are going to have to be cut. Well, they were looking for 160,000 jobs. Today they got 224,000. Admittedly, they reduced May's by another couple of thousand. But now the traders are all wondering, what does this mean? Does the Fed move in the month of July or not? We have an interesting series of events this month. We have Chairman Powell speaking before Congress 2 days, I think this coming week. And then what we get is at the end of the month, we get the FOMC meeting. So there's going to be more economic data, but things did slow down a little bit. Bitcoin's been on a heck of a run, back up to the 11,390. But remember, this market soared a lot, and it's given back a lot. It's got 40% swings now all over the place. But let's go to the monthly chart, because one of the things we pointed out last week, and let's go there. This is how you finished up the month of June. The market closed for the first time over the upper Bollinger Band. The question now is that it? Does it have the legs to say that the area between, let's call it 1395 and 11,073, about that $200 range, is it enough to break out here and say we can get up to near $1,600 an ounce? Because that's what the monthly count would support. You just flip it over when it's going sideways. Not answering it, but I will answer this. For this week, first week of the month, you're down $13 at 1,470, about $8 under that Bollinger Band. But I'm going to look for support at the 100-week average. This market, remember, it's not trying to be bearish, it's trying to break out. So now that the 100-week was offering the resistance, why shouldn't that offer some of the support? When you come to a weekly chart, you can see that the market last week finished at the best weekly close that it had, and that number was 1413.70, and it's approximately 1400 going into the close today. I haven't seen the exact settlement because I'm putting this out just around 1:40 in the afternoon. A big reversal down for the week. So that gives the market, with this punch that it had, a stall. A stall has finally stepped in from when the market was in the 1270s all the way up here to 1440 and has backed off. How far down? That's what the traders are going to ask themselves. You've got the pattern of higher lows, higher highs. Where might support first come in? Well, first thing I'll do is put moving averages on. The 18-week average is at 1315.10. The 100 weeks, 1284.60, and the 200's way down here. So do I think the market's got the capability to drop $80 in this environment? I'm not sure. So I don't know where to pick it up there, to be honest. What I can tell you is the market has spent 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks, 5 weeks trying to stay over that upper Bollinger Band, and it's giving up on it finally. That makes sense. But I'm not in the camp that thinks it's yet ready for the 18-week average of closes. What I'm seeing, though, is some divergence. I'm seeing the momentum trying to arc down. I'm seeing the bias is up, the trend is up, and the market is going to close back underneath, from the looks of it, the upper Bollinger Band. Now, last week, as you can see, it was over it. The week before, the market had settled over that. If we come to this week, the Bollinger, you closed 1314.10, and the upper Bollinger Band was 1340.60. So you fought a couple of times and managed to get back under, just like you're doing right now. That's my point. Certainly not a bearish chart. The question is, after getting on a stilt like that, where can you come into it? GLD, the popular ETF, same thing. It's pulling back into the Bollinger Band, and it too is getting that momentum that might be ready to shift down a little bit. And if it does, from being here in the 130, 190 area, do you think it's going to get back to the 18-day average? I don't know. I have my doubts about it. So I'd like to see what happens with it there. In GDX, same thing. You rolled back to the right-hand side. That's all you've done. So the Bollinger Bands did their job. It took 2 weeks, 3 weeks for them to finally get the market to move sideways a bit, but they did it. And unlike the other markets, you haven't turned the momentum down in GDX. It's still pointing to the upside along with bias. Strong support at these two numbers, but that's a long way off. The gold-silver ratio doesn't end. It just keeps moving and moving out. Where it'll top is anybody's guess. You know, the 100 levels, the next thing, you know, a big major number. Can you imagine having to put up 100 ounces of silver to get 1 ounce of gold? A lot of people never thought that would happen. And when we look at silver, I want you to look at the 18-week average of closes. You're into support now. You have a market that's in an uptrend, higher lows, higher highs, but you had a lousy close today. The market finishes off at the 1495 area under the 18-day average of closes. So this makes me think you're going to spin around a little bit here because the bias is down, the momentum is trying to turn down, and the swing line's up. Where did the market fail? Well, it didn't make it to the Bollinger Band or the 100-day average. It just couldn't join everything else. In the copper market's down for the week 4 cents. Pretty good size break if you look at it. I'm still confused as to what the U.S. and China have with each other. I was on Bloomberg this morning, and I said, why is it that nobody from either side is saying, have they made any gains on intellectual property? Larry Kudlow keeps talking about they're going to buy produce, they're going to buy your agriculture. Larry, they're not going to buy anything if we don't get a deal on intellectual property because the person you're working for doesn't want that deal. He'll want a deal without the intellectual property. Let's hurt China. That's what I predict will happen. So get us that part, and nobody's answering it. I don't know when they start negotiations, supposedly next week face-to-face. They've been on the phone. Are they picking up where they left off, or are they back to square one? And if it's back to square one, you'll probably get through the next election before you have a deal with China. In the platinum market, I look at the market as getting up to the 18-day average, 18-week average of closes and having run into the resistance. The market got up to 841.10. That number's 842.30, so it just missed it. But then the market came back and for the week dropped $28. So the analysis that we were coming up and might go for that resistance was correct. What do you have here? Well, you have the swing line up, you got the bias down, and you have a market that's pointing down in momentum. I don't see anything. The market, to me, has been the strongest is still the palladium market. It's been on this tear to the upside. It's challenging all-time highs. I would expect problems between right here and the upper Bollinger Band. That's where I'm looking for the problem. So at any point, I wouldn't be surprised if it starts backing off a little bit. And no, I'm not a top picker. Backing off does not mean I'm bearish. I'm just looking at a market that in the past had resistance there. Why won't it get it now? In the dollar index, the dollar came ripping this week, off getting under a lower Bollinger Band. You do realize, go a week ago, how bearish traders were. We were going to have 3 rate hikes. The economy is slowing down. Everybody's getting concerned with everything going on. Today you get a report that we added 224,000 jobs and the market explodes. Just about all this gain is coming on, at least half of it from today. I'll say that. Pretty big, but where did the market stop? Where the pros are selling it. I think they're selling the dollar short here at 96.95. I think that they'll probably put stops over that high, looking to see if they can bring the market back down there. There is a fight. You've got the bias down and the trend down. I see both of that depending on where the final settlement comes in. But you're fighting some of this. If you will, the momentum's trying to come up a little. That momentum can go flat on you 1, 2, 3. You don't have the red over the blue. That's the point that I'm making, and you need that to say momentum is really going up. So you put it all together, you see where you're at, and away you go. That was one of the news sheets that I keep at the back. You ever wonder how I look at all the news during the day? That's one of them. I have a question. How often are you questioning yourself on your trading? You look at your charts, you go to yourself, I like this, but I don't like it. Should I do this? It's got this going for it, it doesn't. Well, that's where I'd like to come in, helping you with your own confidence in your trade. I frankly don't know most of you, right? But when I'm putting out my ideas in the morning on the charts, I'm doing it with one thing. Start cold, they'll look like this. They'll have a black background. I'm just whipping through the charts with you. It's not a race, but I'm going right through them with you. And we're going to do them on 40 futures markets and 5 related ETFs, to be it the financial markets or to futures themselves. I'll rotate those from time to time. When I do these, I start at 6 in the morning, which means I'm reading starting at about 5. I'm going to be able to tell you about any technical analysis that I think you have to look at right now. Certainly I'll know what's going on with Asia and European fundamentals. And if there's a big report coming, you're going to hear me talk about that and what I'm seeing, what you might want to watch out for, things of that nature, because you're going to have these videos well before 7 o'clock in the morning Central Time. A lot of times they're out 6:15, 6:30. I'm going to be able, in that tape, not like I do here, buy here, sell there, stop. Here's a profit objective. Here's another way. Maybe you go with an option strategy. Call your broker. You'll hear me talk to you just like I've known you for years and trying to set you up with ideas on what the market may or may not offer. The idea here is this is what I'm seeing. Maybe you're seeing the same thing. It gives you the confidence. Maybe something was bothering you on a trade and I brought it up and you go, you know, that's what I was missing. I don't know which way it's going to go. I cover all these markets in this sequence, but how it's done is on the bottom of the video, you can pull the recorder. It'll pop up and tell you what area you're in. That's too difficult. We have a lexicon on the side. Just click it. So let's assume you want to go just to the energies. Well, you don't have to go through all these to get there. Just click energies. It'll take you right there. And of course, you can go back and view the others any way that you want as well. This is not free, and it's not expensive. I do this because I'm building a following. And over the years, I've built a nice following. And the price for this is 26.5 cents a day. In other words, $7.95 every 30 days. At the end of 30 days, you can quit. You can do it ahead of time. It's up to you. You can go for another 30 days at $15. Or you could just say, you know, I want this for 1 year, and that's $13 paid up front for the 12 months, $156. I think you'll find it well worth just something to look at in the morning or later in the day. What did Ira have to say about that? Pretty interesting way. I don't think you're going to find this on YouTube and other spots, believe me. So how do you get this? Well, the best way is to go to our website under Research or Education, Ira's Morning Subscriber video. The other way is call my staff. They'll walk you right through it and take care of it for you. In the meantime, I'm Ira Epstein. Have a great 4th of July holiday weekend. I'm still in the office, and I'll see you on Monday.